Let not thine heart envy sinners, but be thou in fear of the I am all the day long. For surely there's an end, and thy expectation shall not be cut off. Hear thou, my son, be wise and guide thine heart in the way. Be not among wine bibblers, among riotous eaters of flesh. For the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty, and drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags. Hearken unto thy father that beget thee, and despise not thy mother when she is old. Buy the truth and sell it not. Also wisdom and instruction and understanding. The father of the righteous shall greatly rejoice, and he that begetteth a wise child shall have joy of him. Thy father and thy mother shall be glad, and she that bare thee shall rejoice. My son, give me thine heart, and let thine eyes observe my ways. For a whore is a deep ditch, and a strange woman is a narrow pit. She also lieth in wait for a prey, and increases transgressors among men. Who hath woe, who hath sorrows, who hath contentions, who hath babblings, who hath wounds without cause, who hath redness of eyes? They that tarry long at wine, and they that go to sleek mixed wine. Look not thou upon wine when it is red, when it is given in its color in the cup, when it removeth itself all right. At the last it biteth like a serpent, and stingeth like an adder. Thine eyes shall behold strange women, and thine heart shall utter perverse things. Yea, thou shalt be as he that lieth down in the midst of the sea, or as he that lieth upon the top of a mast. They have stricken me. Shalt thou say, I was not sick? They have beaten me. I felt it not. When shall I awake? When I will seek it yet again. Proverbs chapter 23, verse 17 through 35. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have swayed the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me in my seed, that we go not astray henceforth and forever. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We thank God for you walking with Mr. Clay. I am Mr. Clay. And also we thank God for those of you that have been with us since the beginning, and those of you who have been with us since here and there and about. And we thank God for those of you who have just subscribed, as well as those of you who are about to subscribe, and those of you who are just viewing, calling those things that are not as though they are. Yes, we thank God for his mercy and his praise. Yes, we say, our God reigns, our God reigns, our God reigns. There is none like to our God. He is God and God alone. He has no son, neither does he beget. He has created once, and after that, everything creates itself after its kind. Or should I say, reproduces itself after its kind. Yes, our God reigns. Oh, we praise him, we give him the glory and the praise. For he has gotten him the victory, and his victory is our victory. When he decides he wants to have victory, or he wants to bless himself, he blesses us because he knows we will bless him. Yes, all praises. Now, we're in the book of Nehemiah. The book of Nehemiah, and as you prepare, chapter 12. Yes, Nehemiah chapter 12. This is about restoration of Judah, restoration of the temple that Solomon built, restoration of Judah and its surrounding areas, the repairing of the gates, the repairing of the walls, and how that to restore the worship that was ordered at Jerusalem. Now, in our proof, we have that Jerusalem was founded in Jebus, the Jerusalem that we're talking about as far as the Jerusalem that is of David, where Solomon built his temple. Yes, where it's called Jebus. One of the last strongholds. And David had men destroy it or get the people out. And the fact was, Solomon built his temple there. King David built his palace there, and it's just, and then you wonder, how did Jerusalem get way over somewhere else? You'll see, as we just began, you see the picture of the ruins at Jebus, which is Jerusalem. They call it Jebus because that's what they were warned to do. They tried to bury it, God uncovered it, and all these things have happened to Jebus. Because now God reveals it to his children. This is where this has happened. The graves are also the graves of David, the graves of Solomon, the graves of Jesus, whatever that Jesus. He had never had no graves because he never existed. But the fact is, the graves of all the prophets or those who were spoken of are there. What are you going to do? Go do like the pagans? Go worship the grave site? Ludicrous. You have to realize, man in his best state is pagan. He's pagan. He's either going to worship himself or he's going to worship him that made him rich or whatever. He's going to become pagan. This don't mean that you have to hate people, but it means that God reverences no man, neither does he require those that follow him. I'm talking about the Most High. I ain't talking about no Jesus, no this or no that. I'm talking about worshiping and following even the I am. No respect of persons. Yes, you have to give honor to all who honors is due because they have the following of many people. You go into a church, you just don't go and, diss the preacher. Even though he is pagan and his people are pagan, you give him the respect that is due or say nothing really and continue about your merry way. It's the way of God, yes. Now, Nehemiah chapter 12. What should I say? 13. I'm sorry. Chapter 13. I think we're in 13. Yes. I was reading it the other day. Yes, Nehemiah chapter 13. I have to go back into my archives and find that stuff. But sometimes I read things and I just get into so many things. And then next thing you know, I was there. Well, especially at the start of the morning, yeah. You want your cup of coffee or whatever you have to drink or your protein drink or this or that. Yeah, you want those things. And it's good that you have those things. Now, it reads, on the day they read in the book of Moses in the audience of the people. Now, the book of Moses, where is it? You often heard me say this if you followed me anytime. The book of Moses, the book of the law. We don't have it. All we have is this historical account. This is a mystery. And many times the heathen would hide things and bury things just to have a certain amount of truth with lies to control people. Now, says, on that day they read in the book of Moses in the audience of the people, and therein was found written that the Ammonite and the Moabite should not come into the congregation of God forever, because they met not with the children of Israel with bread and water, but hired Balaam against them, that he should curse them. Howbeit our God turned the curse into a blessing. And now it came to pass, when they had heard the law, they had separated from Israel an all mixed multitude. And before this, Elishibib, the priest, having the oversight of the chamber of the house of our God, was allied unto Tobiah. Now you've read about Tobiah. Yes, I forgot his other name, but either way, the other guy, and Tobiah, who conspired to not have the city of Jerusalem, neither the temple, to be repaired or for them to even worship in it. They had, but then they found, should I say, Ezra, he found the letter that was written to Ezra. Nehemiah found the letter that was written to Ezra to rebuild the temple. Yes, by King Darius, or should I say King Xerxes. Now this was during the time of King Darius, so it had to be over a space of time that these things have occurred. Yes, it was. My neighbor has his air compressor going for some reason, I don't know, but regardless, we're going to go head on. We're not going to allow people to hinder us in what we have to say. But the fact is, we have, it's done fell over, isn't it? Oh wow, this is something else. But either way, it's not liquid, it's just a sound card. But either way, now it came to pass, when they had heard the law, they separated from Israel all mixed multitude. Now this is what you as Israel have to do. You have to separate yourself from Christianity. You have to separate yourself from Christians. These are the paganistic people. These are the Sanballat and Tobias, to remember that name. These are them. These are the ones that have chosen pagan and have been taught. Some of them are innocent because not that they're innocent or they're forgiven, but once they're given the law, they shun the law. And some come to the point and say, well, this here was the law is passed. Is the law really passed? Or is it a way of saying you can sin and nothing will happen? No, it's not about that. Is heathen stuff. They will always be cast to the side. The New Testament is of another God. It's not the God of the Old Testament. No, it's not. Not by a long shot. It's the way, even those of you that call yourself Israelites, you're not to even bother with the things, even though you read Isaiah 53 and that 70 weeks of Daniel, which really never came true. The last week, everything came true but the last week. Not even the other week came, because it was an insertion. They have really manipulated that chapter, the 7th chapter of Daniel. Now, the fact is that you're going to have to take it and deal with it, because you have Deuteronomy chapter 28, the curses. God will cause you to forget him. He's going to turn you over to the gods of other nations, is what he said. Now, God gives you a glimpse. He gives you breadcrumbs to get back to him, and that is the law that we have today. Oh, is God wicked? Why will he allow this? No, God did that. You did that. God even gave your ancestors the part. I'm talking to Israel here. God gave your ancestors the desire of their heart. He showed you how democracy was. Evil. What did he do? You said we wanted a king. This is what your ancestors, you were in their loins. We want a king. He described to you what a king would do. Excuse me. And so you said we still want a king. Samuel said, okay, give him a king. And the Most High said, even the I Am says, they didn't reject you, Samuel. They rejected me. They rejected God for a man. And even to this day, they reject the I Am for a man. They manipulated the scriptures and began to call him the Son of God. God has no sons. God created once and commanded everything after that to multiply after its kind. That's it. He didn't have to do nothing else. He created the herbs for your healing. He created everything. And what happened? There's a hybrid or something that came in and destroyed everything that would heal, that would cause. You even had the Israelites were going around and they didn't even have, their teeth didn't rot, their soles of their feet, the shoes on their feet did not wear away during the time of their sojourning on to the land that was given unto Shem and his children, that was occupied by Ham, the son of Ham, even Canaan, when he was warned not to. You can read that in the book of Jubilees. It was written. Many of you do not read these books. This is why they hide those books. They will tell you something else, but they hide the books because it shows you exactly who you are. But then again, they still put this Isis, this Yahushai, this Yahusha, this what do you call it? Yeshua, yes, Yeshua. And even this Jesus as your God. And many of you still worship him as your God. You're confused. You've been doing it so long it seems scary to let it go. But you have to read the word. You have to say, well, God, if the fact is, you've given us the law, although it's already in your heart, that's no strike against God. But God had to show the standard that is in your heart, that if you go against that standard in your heart, it's in your heart, and this yet God uses what is in your heart as a standard, you have transgressed his law. In other words, you don't want nobody committing adultery on you. You wouldn't want nobody killing your family or yourself. You don't want nobody lying to you. You don't want nobody coveting everything you got to the point where they steal from you and manipulate you and embezzle you. All these are forms of stealing. Yes. All these are forms of stealing. Corporations do it every day. Steal. You have politicians steal every day. Steal the money of the people when you entrusted them to take your tax dollars and make life good for you. Not only infrastructure, but also medically and everything else. But they steal. These things, if the law is passed, then we are yet have no standard or nothing to weigh anything against. So for the world, even the Ten Commandments is a standard by which we weigh righteousness, when another person might be in denial when they know the truth, yet we have the truth before us. And this was also the law in Israel, that much of it, if you violated and was caught, Israel was commanded to put you to death. This is what it is. The world doesn't, that's not a law that God gave to the world, but that's a law that was patterned for the world, but they rejected the Most High. I digress, but either way, now, let's continue. They heard the law and they separated themselves and all the mixed multitude. In other words, y'all, we don't want to be around y'all no more. Y'all cause people to sin. You cause us to sin against our God, our Elohim, our El. You look at the world today, the mixed multitudes. If anybody preached to you anything other than the law, then they are anathema. They are cursed. Anything other than the law, I'm going to put it that way. See, they say Paul told you one way. This is the way you ought to be. Separate yourself from those who will speak contrary to the law. Even Solomon in all his wisdom says stolen waters are sweet. What did he mean? He was talking about adultery, or any form of adultery. Stolen waters are sweet. That is very good wisdom. So the standard is the law. Although it's in your heart and you know these things, this is by which the standard that you and I will be judged. Now, they separated themselves from Israel and all the mixed multitude. These were the who? Levites. And before this, Elisha, being the priest, having the oversight of the chamber of the house of our God, was allied unto Tobiah. Listen, he had prepared for him a great chamber where aforetime they had laid the meat offerings, the frankincense, the vessels, and the tithes of the corn. Tithes of corn, tenths of corn that people have given. And the new wine and the oil which was commanded to be given to the Levites and the singers and the porters and the offerings of the priests. Singing was a job in the temple. Keeping the doors of the temple was a job. By this, all pagans have made you have your ushers for the church. It's supposed to replace this temple. All these churches on here. Porters, you have doorkeepers at churches trying to mimic Israel. All of them, even in the Catholic churches, even Islam. You go into you got porters and all these other things. The masjid, you go in there, you find it. But in all this time, verse 6, was I not at Jerusalem. For in the 32nd year of Xerxes, king of Babylon, I came unto the king, and after certain days obtained I leave of the king. And I came to Jerusalem, understood that of the evil that Elisha did for Tobiah. Tobiah wasn't even an Israelite. Wasn't even a Judean. And in preparing him in a chamber in the courts of the house of the I Am, verse 8, and it grieved me sore. Therefore I cast forth all the household stuff to Tobiah out of the chamber. In other words, this has no right here. Everything this man touches needs to go. The same thing. You don't need those who do not obey the law around you. You should separate yourself from them. Even the time that they even talked about this Isis, they separated themselves from them. But then this is a made-up story, but the persons who made this story up was very versed in the scriptures in the way of Israel. They knew, but they were wicked. Swayed by the deceitfulness of spirits over the hearts of men. And I perceived that the portions of the Levite had not been given them. They were stealing. This is for those who were working in the temple. For the Levites were many, and it's a job to work just in the temple itself and around it. It's just, if you just think about all the things that need to be done, it is a job. For the Levites and the singers that did the work were fled away, everyone to his field. They were trying to get something to eat. They were growing their own crops. And then contended I with the rulers and said, why is the house of God forsaken? He ain't talking about no church. He's talking about what? The temple, which is at Jerusalem. The temple, which should have shiny gold, which should have beautiful floors, that just mimicking where the realm of God is, where the throne of the Most High is. Yes. That's what it was doing, mimicking